Housewives Games. Chapter 1: The Ordinary Life. Amelia, an average suburban housewife, seemed to have it all: a loving family, a beautiful home, and an active social life. However, beneath her seemingly perfect exterior, she yearned for excitement beyond her mundane routine. The monotony of her daily life and a deep sense of loneliness drove her towards risky adventures, seeking excitement and passion outside her marriage. Behind closed doors, Amelia indulged in secret liaisons with various men, eager to experience fleeting intimacy and escape the confines of her seemingly perfect life. An opportunity arose when Amelia stumbled upon a casting call for a popular reality TV show, showcasing the lives of affluent housewives. With a glimmer of hope in her eyes, she auditioned, hoping to inject some adventure into her life. Amelia delves deep into manipulation and deceit to ensure her casting on the reality show. She meticulously researches her competitors, exploiting their weaknesses and vulnerabilities to get ahead. With every step, she becomes more cunning and more ruthless, stopping at nothing to achieve her goal. From spreading rumors to sabotaging relationships, she will stop at nothing to ensure her place on the show. Through calculated maneuvering, the cunning producers recognize Amelia's hunger to be a part of the franchise. They dangle the illusion of stardom and promise wealth, exploiting her insecurities and dreams for their own gain. Amelia, blinded by the allure, willingly succumbs to their devious traps, unknowingly becoming a pawn in their game. Amelia was cast as one of the main housewives, and her life was about to change forever. Fans were captivated by her relatable charm and quick wit, drawn to her authenticity and down-to-earth nature. Amelia quickly became a fan favorite, adored for her relatability and natural charm. Viewers loved her ability to navigate the extravagant world of the show while remaining true to herself. Her rise to fame was meteoric, and the public couldn't get enough of her. Unbeknownst to them, the producers carefully craft this facade, an ever-present. The viewers remain blissfully ignorant of the puppet strings controlling her every action and the cruel game she has become a pawn in Amelia's carefully constructed image. The housewives, once allies, become both pawns and competitors in the producer's sinister plot. Amelia begins to notice the manipulative tactics employed by the show's producers. She makes sure to meticulously keep a note of every shady tactic employed by the producers. Armed with a greater understanding of the producers' tactics, Amelia starts to assert her independence. She understands that she must play the game strategically to outmaneuver the cunning producers. She becomes adept at presenting a composed, obedient facade, while actively working behind the scenes to gather incriminating evidence. Every conversation, event, and confrontation becomes an opportunity for her to accumulate proof of the producers' manipulation. As Amelia's fame skyrocketed, the pressures began to take a toll on her. Behind the scenes, her once pleasant demeanor transformed into a demanding and entitled attitude. Her rising stardom had given her a false sense of importance, making her difficult to work with. On the silver screen, she was the epitome of grace and elegance, adored by fans worldwide. Behind the scenes, though, was a different story. Amelia was a hard-drinking tyrant who held her castmates and the show's crew under her thumb. Amelia's behavior behind the scenes quickly became a nightmare for the production team. She demanded special treatment, throwing tantrums when things didn't go her way. The show's producers had long grown weary of Amelia's high-handedness. But they couldn't fire her. Amelia had dirt on them all. She knew of the producers' underhand tactics to boost ratings, and their manipulation of the cast, as Amelia had been taking note of it all. Because amidst the glitz and glamour of the showbiz world, reality TV producers meticulously crafted storylines designed to heighten emotions and provoke reactions. They knew that unhinged behavior would lead to higher ratings and increased buzz, keeping audiences engaged and advertisers satisfied. The producers, masters of manipulation, orchestrated situations to provoke the Real Housewives into chaotic reactions. They strategically placed them in situations where tensions would inevitably rise, exploiting their vulnerabilities for entertainment value. They encouraged gossip and fostered rivalries, planting seeds of discord that would eventually explode on screen, leaving the housewives and viewers alike stunned. Amelia's reign as the queen of the Reality Housewives franchise is threatened when the producers conspire to oust her by offering the coveted center position to other cast members because they feel Amelia has too much power. The producers know they have to do this quietly, because their job is at risk along with their shady ways being exposed. Sensing the impending danger and noticing producers were trying to phase her out episodes little by little each week, Amelia decides to take matters into her own hands. Fearful of losing her place in the limelight in the show, Amelia enlists the help of a skilled private detective to dig up dirt on Mr. B, the formidable boss of the franchise. In the ruthless world of reality TV, Mr. B was a shady executive with raw ambition. Armed with undeniable charisma and a willingness to exploit any opportunity he sets his sights on, the secrets they unearth go far deeper than either of them could have ever imagined, leaving them questioning everything they thought they knew about the man behind the franchise. They already knew about his avid drug use, which was no surprise to them, nor would it be for fans. However, the detective discovered a secret about Mr. B and the network that made Amelia untouchable. You see, through Amelia's already manipulative ways, she was able to spot the like-minded, manipulative schemes of show producers, which was already shocking enough due to what they would do for ratings, but what she found out about the network and their deeper intentions actually shocked her. She threatened Mr. B with the revelation of his secret unless he guaranteed her a permanent spot on the show. As the show progresses, Amelia's power trip intensifies, making Iris and Kaylin's lives a living hell. Behind the scenes, the two housewives can sense the producers' growing frustration with Amelia's antics, but they remain perplexed as to why nothing is being done to rein her in. Amelia's behavior even crosses the line into racism, leaving Iris and Kaylin feeling helpless and vulnerable. During a wild night of filming, fueled by alcohol, Amelia found herself unable to resist her growing attraction to castmate Iris. In a moment of uninhibited desire, she made undesired advances towards her, hoping for a reciprocal response. However, Iris, taken aback and loyal to her marriage, firmly rejected Amelia's advances as usual. Iris Carmichael, a stunning and enigmatic castmate, had always captivated Amelia. Her elegance and composed demeanor intrigued always Amelia, but you'd never know until the cameras were down and Amelia had a drink. Frustrated by Amelia's persistent pursuit and inappropriate behavior, Iris reached her breaking point. She confided in Kaylin, a trusted friend and fellow castmate and someone else who's been harassed by the tyrant, about the distressing situation. Unable to bear the constant unwanted attention, Iris decided it was time to confront Amelia. In a tense and emotional confrontation, Iris, filled with anger and frustration, confronted Amelia about her inappropriate actions. The encounter escalated to a point where Iris had had enough, and in a moment of raw emotions she broke a bottle upon Amelia's head and snatched her bald in the middle of the club. Hair was everywhere. The confrontation left Amelia shocked, humiliated and bloody. Not only Amelia but producers, because of how violent it was and in public for everyone to see. Which means fans filmed the incident. That never makes Mr. B happy. To Mr. B, the success of The Real Housewives relied heavily on the element of surprise. He believed that the show's appeal lay in the carefully crafted narrative arcs, the unexpected twists, and the dramatic confrontations that kept viewers hooked. Any leaks before the episodes aired threatened to undermine the carefully constructed storytelling. For Mr. B, creating a compelling reality TV series was an art form. He saw himself as the mastermind behind the scenes, orchestrating the drama and ensuring that each episode was a captivating experience for the viewers. Leaks not only spoiled the surprises but also jeopardized the carefully planned storylines, potentially causing a decline in viewership. Amelia's reign of terror reached a boiling point during a heated altercation with Iris, another housewife. The confrontation, unexpectedly filmed by overzealous fans, quickly spread like wildfire across social media, further fueling Amelia's ego and exacerbating Mr. B's frustration. The leaked footage of the fight between Amelia and Iris was a devastating blow to Mr. B's carefully guarded control over the show. It shattered the carefully orchestrated narrative, exposing the raw and unfiltered reality behind the scenes. Mr. B's anger and dismay intensified as he saw his carefully constructed world crumbling around him. Mr. B, fed up with Amelia's tyranny, decided to devise a plan to get rid of her once and for all. In his cocaine-induced stupor, Mr. B began to brag about his elaborate plan to oust Amelia, the troublesome housewife who had been blackmailing him. His ego inflated with each line of coke, making him careless and reckless. As the drugs took hold, Mr. B's inhibitions shrank. He babbled about his plan to anyone who would listen, oblivious to the fact that he was laying bare his darkest intentions. He even went so far as to unzip his pants in public, a shocking display of his dwindling self-control. Unfortunately for Mr. B, his drug-fueled rants did not go unnoticed. Among his audience was Amelia's hairstylist, a trusted confidant and close friend of the housewife. The hairstylist was taken aback by Mr. B's indiscreet ramblings and knew that he had to warn Amelia. The news sent Amelia into a spiral, forcing her to plot her survival. Chapter 2, Awakening. Amelia adjusted her designer sunglasses, looking at her reflection in the mirror. Her hand gingerly touched the scar on her scalp, a grim reminder of her fight with Iris. She smirked. Her plan was coming together and soon, she'd have her revenge. Not just on Iris, but on Mr. B and the producers who had tried to play her for a fool. She picked up her phone and dialed the numbers of her fellow housewives. One by one, she invited them over to her mansion for a little get-together. She painted a picture of a fun-filled evening, knowing they would be unable to resist. "What's the occasion, darling?" asked Beverly, her voice filled with suspicion. "Just a little gathering, Bev," replied Amelia, her voice as sweet as honey. "I have some news to share." Beverly hummed on the other end, "All right, Amelia. We'll be there." With each call, Amelia felt a rush of adrenaline. Every step was bringing her closer to her ultimate goal. As the evening approached, the housewives arrived, each one more glamorous than the other. Iris, the last to arrive, was met with a chilly reception. Amelia watched as Iris's gaze fell on her, her eyes widening in surprise at the sight of the scar. "Welcome, Iris," Amelia greeted, her smile never reaching her eyes. "Cut to the chase, Amelia. What's this all about?" Iris demanded, her fiery temper flaring. Amelia walked to the center of the room, allowing her gaze to sweep over her castmates. She took a deep breath and said, "Ladies, there's a snake among us. Mr. B and the producers have been playing us all along." In a desperate bid to save herself, Amelia was about to reveal Mr. B's and the network's secret to her co-stars. Mind you, Amelia had known about the producers' intentions for a while but said nothing for her own selfish gain. Amelia's heart pounded as she gathered the courage to tell her fellow housewives the truth about the dark secrets lurking behind reality television. For years, they had all unknowingly been a part of a system that manipulated narratives and controlled messaging. United by a shared desire for authenticity, the Real Housewives come together to form an unexpected alliance. They share their experiences of being manipulated, their stories twisted to fit the producer's agenda. As the Real Housewives delve deeper into the inner workings of the reality show and share more of their personal experiences dealing with the network, they uncover a tangled web of deception. The tension in the room was palpable as Amelia dropped the bombshell revelation about Mr. B and the network's dark intentions. The Real Housewives, already feeling betrayed and manipulated, were now faced with a difficult decision. They knew that speaking out could have consequences for their own personal and professional lives, but they also believed that the truth needed to be exposed. Armed with evidence of the producer's manipulation, the Real Housewives want to take their fight to the public. Through social media campaigns, interviews, and behind-the-scenes exposés, they want to rally supporters and expose the dark underbelly of reality TV. As the meeting came to a close, the housewives quickly reached for their phones, dialing their managers and the press. TMZ, known for their love of scandalous stories, was high on their list. The women were determined to make sure this secret would no longer be concealed. But amidst the chaos and urgency, Amelia couldn't resist the opportunity for revenge against Iris. As Iris walked out the door, engrossed in a conversation with her manager, Amelia saw her chance. With a surge of anger, she lunged at Iris, dragging her to the ground. In the scuffle, Iris's tooth was knocked out, and her fake booty burst, symbolizing the facade they had all been living. The other housewives screamed and tried to break up the fight, realizing that even this petty dispute couldn't distract them from the magnitude of what Amelia had just revealed. Despite the chaos, they knew they had to stay focused on the bigger picture and ensure that the truth would prevail. They team up to expose the truth about the network and its puppeteer, Mr. B. However, their attempts to spread their stories are thwarted at every turn. Every blog and media outlet is silencing their voices, under the pressure of the network and Mr. B. Frustrated and angry, Amelia and her fellow housewives decide to take matters into their own hands. They hatch a plan that is as audacious as it is risky. They will go live together, all the housewives from every franchise of the show, and expose the truth for the world to see. Chapter 3: A Reckoning. As the housewives went live, the truth about the network's manipulation, controlled messaging, and concealed power players began to unravel. Behind the scenes, the network had been pushing racist and sexist agendas to increase ratings, not caring about the repercussions it had on society. The fans, once loyal followers of the show, were shocked and angered by the revelations made during the live stream. They began to question the authenticity of reality television and wondered if anything they saw on TV was real. The deception ran much deeper than they could have ever imagined. As the fans demanded accountability and a fresh start from the network, they fervently supported Amelia Stans as a central figure, having broken the news that shook the Real Housewives and fans to their core. However, unbeknownst to them, Amelia's motivations are far from noble, and she harbors a hidden agenda. The revolt led to the firing of the notorious producer, Evil Mr. B, along with a handful of other producers who had played a part in manipulating the truth. Amidst the chaos, Amelia was the appointed figure to take control of the network and the housewives due to her being the pioneer of breaking the story. As Amelia settled into her new position, her true intentions began to surface. Initially, Amelia's reign over the network and housewives appears promising, leading the former housewives to believe that she has changed for the better. However, their hopes are shattered as they start noticing subtle hints and familiar patterns that remind them of the vindictive and manipulative woman they had all despised in the past. The network, under her control, became a playground for her twisted ambitions. The former housewives who had once trusted her felt deceived, realizing that Amelia had used them as pawns to achieve her sinister goals. Amelia's reign as the mastermind of the network was marked by a web of manipulation and deceit. She exploited the vulnerabilities of the former housewives, using their secrets against them to maintain her control. The very same women who had helped her rise now found themselves trapped in her wicked game again, but in a different way. As tensions rise, the former housewives band together to uncover the truth behind Amelia's true intentions. Their journey takes them through a maze of deceit, betrayal, and hidden agendas, forcing them to confront their own past and the role they played in Amelia's rise to power. Meanwhile, Mr. B, the enigmatic puppet ex-master behind the scenes, seethed with anger and rage. He had carefully crafted the web of deception, and Amelia's betrayal infuriated him. He plotted against her, determined to make her pay for her actions. With nothing left to lose, Mr. B delved into the depths of his darkest desires, embracing the malevolent forces within him. He vowed to seek retribution against Amelia by any means necessary, consumed by a thirst for power and a hunger to watch her crumble beneath his wrath. Mr. B knew that to destroy Amelia, he needed to infiltrate her world and dismantle it from within. He adopted a new identity, a seductive and enigmatic figure who captivated those around him. With each calculated move, he unraveled the threads of Amelia's life, sowing seeds of doubt and chaos.